Okay, I'd like to call the Joint Special School Building Committee to order. We're at Nashua High School North Lecture Hall. It's Tuesday, May 26th, 2022. It's 7:32 p.m. And if the clerk would please call a roll.
I will, but it's Thursday. Please don't take away those 2 days from me. You said Tuesday.
Yeah, it's Thursday.
Last week I
Why
thought it
does
was
say
Thursday on Tuesday. It made for a very long week.
I just read what's on the paper.
Oh, yeah, it does.
Oh, geez, it does. Well. Okay, so roll call. Alderman Dowd.
Present.
Alderman Klee. Here. Alderman Wilshire. Here. Alderman Sullivan.
Here.
Alderman Timmons is not here. Ms. Bishop is here. Mr. Claffey.
Here.
Ms. Gilio.
Here.
Ms. Lampier.
Here.
And Ms. Raymond. Here. Oh, here.
All right, we have a quorum. If the clerk would please call, would say the prayer, and Alderman Sullivan would lead us in the pledge.
Almighty God, we have the high honor and the serious duty to manage the educational affairs of our beloved city. Fill us, O God, with a spirit of unity and understanding, which enables us to face our multiple problems with a serene mind, with justice and charity for all, so that any and all decisions made by us will always be for the betterment and greater happiness of our fellow citizens. So help us God. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag
Of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. If there are no objections, I'll waive the reading of the minutes of the May 3rd, 2022 Joint Special School Building Committee meeting and place them on file. Okay. Remarks by Chairman. This evening, I'd like to make brief remarks that tragedy in Texas was horrific. Anyone that has children, grandchildren, people they know, teachers, and it was just horrific. But I would like to just tell the people of Nashua that we have taken extensive precautions over the last few years to safeguard our schools. The vast majority of our schools have secure vestibules after the school opens. There's only one way to get into the school, and you have to go through that secure vestibule, and hopefully it probably can't stop all events, but it would slow people down enough so we could get the police response there before they ever get into the school. So we have taken other numerous safety measures in both the Pennachuck and the new middle school that safeguard the students. I don't want to get into the security requirements, but I'm sure everybody here knows what they are. And it would be very difficult to do what happened in Texas, unfortunately. I think the federal government ought to help fund the safeguards like we have here in Nashua for the schools around the country. And there are other activities they can take, but I don't want to get into a political thing. So I just think it's horrific, and I know those of you with kids in school and stuff have, and especially the Board of Ed members, know that at least on the building side, we're doing everything we can to safeguard our students. Okay. So having said that, glad everyone's here. Remarks by school administration, Mr. Smith, anything?
Oh, nothing at this time.
Okay, the first thing we're going to have is the architect's report from Herman, Jamie Willett.
Good evening, everyone. Again, Jamie Willett with Harriman. My reports and presentations are getting lighter nowadays.
Temporarily.
Temporary. Disappointing for me, but it's good to see construction starting, and that's the reason they're a little bit lighter. So I did hand out a memorandum today. It's kind of giving a very light, high-level summary of things that are ongoing in our court. We were at the new middle school today for a construction meeting. I know that Ken will be speaking a little bit about that from Harvey in a moment, but it's going. It's really impressive to see how much foundation work and site work has happened out there. If you're ever down in that area and you swing by Cherrywood Drive, Medallion Court area, you can see quite a bit right from the road. So you might have to get the right angle to see through some of the site work that's happening, but you'll be able to see concrete up and ongoing and lots of trucks. Very exciting. Right now, we're continuing to review submittals and questions that come in from Harvey. They continue to be quite numerous, especially the submittals. And again, for people that may or may not know, the submittals are the kind of the information that's confirming the products that are going into the school and you know, how the subcontractors intend to build those pieces sometimes. And so we're reviewing those, and they continue to come in, and questions go back and forth, or you know, answers and questions go back and forth, and so it's going really well. We are still waiting for the final approval letter from NHDES for the dredge and fill. I know there has been some correspondence here with people here in the Alderman Dowd and Mr. Smith have had some correspondence with them and the Army Corps of Engineers, who is a part of the approval process for the dredge and fill. So it's looking promising. We're hoping within the next, let's say, 7 days, we see that letter come through. But there's never any official guarantee from them. So we're pushing as much as we can on our end for what we can do. They do have all the information. They have reported that they do have all the information they need. So that's not really the issue. Harvey will be presenting. They have a few PCOs tonight that they're presenting. I did want to touch on one of them, kind of give some background information. It is a little bit larger one. PCO number 4 for the new middle school is site revisions. Ken will get into it a little further, but I did want to, you know, we do recommend approval. It includes AOT, the NHDES, New Hampshire Department of Environmental Services, alteration of terrain permit that we received previously for the project. This particular change encompasses stuff that was required out of that permitting process, adjustments that were made for the Conservation Commission suggestions, the zoning board approvals, and planning board requested updates, as well as, I got a spelling error there, adjustments to, that were needed based on the utility, additional conversations with utility companies. So this is a big site change, but it encompasses some of the things that were happening after the bidding process had already started. So that's the reason for that one. We can talk about a little bit more. We can ask questions. Certainly makes sense to have that when Ken presents that. I'm open to answering too, but at Pennachuck, you know, that one is much further than the new middle school. That one is being used actually in some of the new wings. And so that we continue to review some submittals. It's a lot less than we'd seen initially in the project. And then more so it's just questions and confirmation and visiting the site to confirm that it meets with the construction documents. And then the second line is continuing to monitor the progress on site. At Fairgrounds, that one is much less. That's just coordinating with Harvey the additional work that's kind of been added, and I think Ken's speaking that to a little bit tonight, which was previously discussed in other meetings. And then 55 Franklin Street, we've had some coordination meetings, submittals and RFIs are starting to come in on that one. We did receive State Fire Marshal review comments just the other day, and so we're starting to review those to prepare responses. There's a few of them, so. That's it, really fast, quick, but any questions?
Questions for the architect? Okay, Ken, you're up.
Okay. Thank you, everybody. Again, Ken Lemarier, Harvey Construction. Unfortunately, my presentations are getting longer. So I've handed out a novel to everybody tonight. we'll do a construction update for Pennachuck and the new middle school. And then I have items for the new middle school, Pennachuck, Fairgrounds, and 55 Franklin Street. So we'll work down through the lists in order here, and then we'll be able to address any questions, comments as we work through. So we'll start with a construction update here. So starting off at Pennachuck here, we'll start with the completed work that we have finished. We finished the South Addition, boiler room, chorus, bathroom groups 1 and 2, and the portable classroom has been removed. The north classroom is well ahead of schedule. We will be turning that over in the month of July. We actually had another great meeting with Principal Falzerano and Vice Principal Hardiman this morning to discuss future teacher moves and where people are going. So we're trying to help them in that process, making sure the spaces are ready when those teachers can get in this summer to help get their classrooms set up ahead of time. The Learning Commons now is underway, and I'll show you some photos as we go further into the presentation. The first step of that process was to remove the remaining portable classroom, so that allowed us to start construction there. Foundations are underway. Steel will be starting in July, and we'll be turning that over at the end of December of this year. After the last day of school, June 23rd, we're going to be starting all of the interior renovations. Those are of the existing spaces. Those are all the pink areas and the gymnasium and the gymnasium in there and the cafeteria areas. So that'll basically kind of architectural facelifts, replacing all of the MEP finishes. It's basically going to look like a brand new space when the students arrive in the fall. Other exterior building improvements, the entire site will be shut down this summer. I know Alderman Dowd's been instrumental in helping us coordinate that with DPW. We'll be blocking off the far end of the Henry Burke Highway bridge, and we'll have signage up, and I believe we'll also we'll have a information electronic signage set up as well. So it's going to be a busy site, and in order for us we're going to need to shut down the entire site to keep it safe, to make sure everything's completed when the students return in the fall. So some of the exterior building improvements will be finishing up the metal and concrete panels in the exterior of the building. The roof replacement, the middle of the roof will be replaced this summer, so we'll be taking care of that as well. All the perimeter edge metal and all of the solar tube skylight systems in the science rooms. We do also have 2 remaining mechanical units that will be installed. And then as far as the site work, we'll be installing the rest of the curbing, paving, striping, all of the site furnishings, bollards, dumpster pads, all the landscaping, irrigation, and we'll also be finishing up the new school entrance. So all of the final signalization and traffic lights and crosswalks will be completed probably mid-August. So we'll have a few weeks to work out the tweaks and finish the commissioning of that to make sure it's in proper working order in the fall. So the goal is to have most everything done except for the Learning Commons complete for the first day of school in the fall. So that's kind of a high-level view of what we have to do. So we have a busy summer ahead of us. Working into the exterior site here. So right now, this is kind of just an overview of what we're trying to, just items we're trying to pick off before we shut down the site this summer. Just trying, like on the weekends and nights, working on sidewalk grading and subgrade prep, that's all in progress. All of the remaining site utility work is mainly completed. Granite curbing is in progress, and that'll be complete again, as I mentioned earlier, this summer. Basically, everything that you kind of see in your typical parking area will be completed this summer, probably early August.
If I could just interject, we made the parking spaces longer for the people driving F-250s, since most of the parents seem to have those. We expanded the parking lot so it's easier to get in and out of.
So it doesn't look like much now, but this is the north courtyard addition. So in the south courtyard, it's kind of more like a green space. In the north addition courtyard, it's, you kind of have like a patio, and there'll be granite benches in there. It'll be kind of a nice area for students to have outdoor classes when the weather is nice. So it's a nice feature that Harriman worked into their design. Here's just kind of a high-level view of the north parking lot area. We'll get into some other parking additions later in the presentation as well. So we're working, doing as much as we can right now before the students leave for the summer break. The north addition, as you can see, is well ahead of schedule. The acoustical ceiling grid is complete. All the MEP finishes in the ceiling are complete. We're prime and first coat of paint. Flooring's in progress. We were there today. Again, these photos were taken 2 weeks ago, so we're pretty much ready for all of the architectural millwork and the final coat of paint. So we're going to be doing all of our inspections with the city and hopefully be able to wrap up by the end of June.
When he says millwork, he means cabinets.
Cabinets.
Things like that.
And science casework.
Yeah, why don't you explain MEP too for those at home? that don't
Mechanical,
understand?
electrical, plumbing, I'm sorry. It's been a long day. Stop me at any time, please. There's too many abbreviations in construction. Moving into, so as I mentioned, some of the demolition, Principal Falzerano has been gracious enough, and Sean's crew, Mr. Smith's crew has been great, allowing us to get into some of the spaces earlier than the summer. So, for example, we were able to take over half of the cafeteria because there's a lot of heavy demolition that needed to be complete. So we worked nights the last 3 or 4 weeks to get all the loud demo work and saw cutting complete. So this photo here in the upper left-hand corner is before we can install the new masonry walls. We have temporary shoring set up, and so we're going to be completing that work. We'll be starting that masonry work soon. Same thing in the gymnasium. We were able to place all the floor protection down, just plywood down to allow us to perform all the demolition. And I believe we're able to donate all of the existing gym equipment to bleachers and basketball hoops to another local school in New Hampshire. So it was really helpful and I want to thank the school department for letting us and working with us to do this, because we basically took half of the cafeteria, so it was very helpful, and it'll help us turn it over on time. Again, we'll be renovating 6 science classrooms. Basically, in these classrooms, it's all aesthetics, just new ceilings, floors, new paint jobs, lab casework, basically kind of receiving an architectural facelift in there. So it's just an example of the work we were able to do over April vacation and the night work.
For those that have seen the gymnasium at Fairgrounds, it will be similar, but different colors.
Mm-hmm. Typical. Typical. Sorry. It's another abbreviation. Yeah.
I just asked what the abbreviation TYP stood for.
Okay. Any questions on Penachuk?
I'm wondering, since the Learning Commons won't be completed until December, what will happen what will be happening with the students who need to do research and check out books, et cetera, et cetera?
Great question. So if you go to up here, we're going to be relocating all of with the help of Mr. Smith's crew, we'll be relocating all of the library equipment and books to the North Addition until the Learning Commons is completed. Once the Learning Commons is completed, we'll move all of that to its final home.
Okay, that sounds good. Thank you.
Moving classrooms around is a great logistical exercise.
This is version 12 of the phasing plan. It's been a working target here.
Just a quick question.
Alderman Clee?
Thank you. Well, I was raising my hand. The closing of the catwalk, is that going to happen on 6/23, right after the last day of class?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. I just said at the end of June, but I want to let my constituents know that it'll be 6/23, they can pretty much so count on, they can't walk over. Thank you.
Okay. Oop. Okay. So moving over to the new middle school. So this is an aerial photo from, I believe, mid-April. So a lot more has happened since this photo. So Jamie mentioned earlier, we are waiting for the wetland permitting. We do believe we should be able to hear back from them hopefully in the next week or so.
Just so you know, the mayor and I called DES, and we have assurances that we'll have the app no later than June 2nd.
So right now, because we are waiting for that, we are limited to how much of the site we can work on. So once we receive approval, that'll allow us to clear the rest of the trees and install the rest of the site development, utilities, drainage, and start the new access road off of Buck Meadow Road. All the construction fencing and signage is in place off of Medallion and Cherrywood. Site drainage is in progress, again, within limits of what we're allowed to work on. We've started working on the parking lot work in the rear parking lot of the new building, and the emergency access road is in progress off of Medallion Court. Just to give everybody a sense of what you're looking at, so this is not to scale, kind of where the building's going to be situated. So our sequencing for how we're actually building the building is going to be from C, B, D, A. So the photos you'll see in the next slide is going to be for building C. We're working on the foundations right now. So this is our temporary site entrance for all of our trucks, and everybody enters here. This is a view from the top of the site. And this is kind of foundations in progress right now. So again, these were taken 2 weeks ago. We placed the last foundation wall for building C today, and we've already started placing footings for building B. So we're well ahead of schedule right now. We're moving along. We're going to be starting steel in mid-July. Everything's going well right now. So if we get our permitting, then we're off to a great start here. So not much to look at right now, but let's get in
Looks
there.
so domain during the day when all those trucks and cement trucks, and it's a very busy spot.
Yeah, and our site work contractor Severino, they've been great keeping down the dust. Water trucks constantly. Today, for example, was very windy, so that they were wetting down the topsoil hourly. So doing a great job, being mindful of the neighbors. It's been fairly quiet. They seem excited. You know, the kids come out and watch the trucks come and go. So it's been a good site so far. Any questions on new middle school? Okay.
Any questions so far on the presentation? Yes, Ms. Raymond?
I have a tangential question regarding the new middle school. So we were talking at the main board meeting this week about needing to have someone from the school department, choose colors, et cetera. And I'm curious as to what items need to be ordered in whatever the school color is and when the hard stop is for having that information.
I'd love to say yesterday to get a decision made, but go ahead, Ken.
I mean, Jamie can kind of jump in too, but it's really a lot of the gym equipment, signage, kind of, I guess, anything that you'd want to put the school logo on, so.
Yes, so at Fairgrounds and Pennachuck, the direction for athletics was to have the bleachers, the roll-down curtain, the logo in the center of the gym court, the wall pads for the gymnasium, all in the athletics colors.
Foul shot lanes.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I thought I was getting yelled at for the mic, but I. And so for the school name, there is some lettering on the face of the entry of the school that will have to be fabricated in the school name to what's chosen, and then also there's on-site 2 locations of signage identifying the school. Ken can speak up to this, but I have a feeling that like the athletic equipment, specifically something like bleachers, can tend to have a longer lead time. I don't know as we're breaching that time frame yet, but it will come fast, and so that's kind of the push to make sure we have decisions made as quickly as the school and the boards can determine that.
Thank you, that's helpful.
Is the Board of Ed having a problem with picking colors?
Of course.
We could pick a color if you want.
Oh, don't say that. Don't,
Do you have a time
no.
frame that you like best? Do you have a time frame that you like best, like by the end of June? We're very good at targets.
Yes, end of June is great.
Okay.
Ken could speak further if there was a certain time frame that.
We're a long ways from putting a gym curtain up, so.
Right, but
I
we
mean, I
want to
guess you
make
have
sure
to
that
order
we
it.
have it ordered in
Yeah,
a timely
no, that-
manner. And if you
we
just
have-
say we need it at some point, it's going to be like September.
End of June will be fine.
Okay.
Okay, any other questions?
No other questions? All right.
I have a question.
Oh, yes.
Can you just point out on the map where the different streets are? Because I'm having a hard time visualizing it.
Okay, so this is Medallion Court,
Uh-huh.
Cherrywood, and the Buck Meadow access road will be kind of over here. So we haven't been able to open up that area yet because of the DES permitting.
Where is the emergency access road that you're building?
Right here.
Okay. All right, thank you.
So it doesn't show all the landscaping. We had if you want to mention it later, but we had an outstanding meeting with the Conservation Commission what night was it? I'm confused. Tuesday night?
Tuesday night.
Tuesday night. They've approved everything, there's 22 acres of plantings, grass, and all types of different vegetation, grass, trees, shrubs, whatever. And all of that's been approved. We changed the culvert under the road to their satisfaction and appreciation because it gives more room for whatever wants to traverse underneath the road, more room to do that. And so all of the approvals have been made by the Conservation Commission, and they're very happy, and they're teaming with us in the plantings and things, so.
I'm so excited about that. I just want to throw that out there. We're going to have like native bugs and creatures, and it'll be really good for science. So.
Yeah. So, all right.
Any other questions for the presentation? We'll have better pictures next month. There's more to show.
Ken, are the PCCOs in this?
Yes.
Whoa. Last call. This went blind.
Let me know when you're ready, Rick. and I'll-
TV Land thinks it's funny. I've got the PCOs, I'm just looking for the PCCOs.
Yeah, it should be in order.
No, I mean in my Harvey book.
Yeah, it should be right in order with the.
in order? Not in this book. I see PCO number 3 is the first one I have.
Yeah, that should be
that's
the,
it.
the first one.
Okay.
3, 4.
It says
1.
PCO, not PCCO. So what I'm missing is the PCCOs. But we can go through.
Third,
It should be the third one.
so it goes 3, 4, PCCO 1.
They're not in the order on the agenda. They're in the order on his.
Okay.
Yeah, the agenda was a little different than this. So if you follow,
I got it.
if you follow the packet that I
got
handed
'em.
out, it should be that, in that order.
So you want to do the PCCOs first? Now that I
Sure,
found them?
I'll go through per the agenda that I've handed out tonight for the sake of your signatures.
Ah,
Okay.
okay.
All
We'll
right,
do
so, well, the first bit of documentation is for the new middle school only. This is PCO number 3, and again, I kind of put down at the bottom of the page, a PCO is a potential change order, and that's if approved by this committee, it allows Harvey to direct our subcontractors to proceed with the out-of-scope work. So PCO number 3 is for additional dumpster tipping fees, and tipping fees are basically what it costs for us to ship our construction debris off-site. Normally, on previous Nashua school projects, Harvey excludes all tipping fees because it's a city project. We are able to use the city landfill. However, and feel free to jump in, Alderman Dowd, whenever. The current phase, I believe phase 2, is reaching its capacity, and they're no longer accepting construction debris.
Right.
So now this change order is for us to ship our construction debris, I believe, to my hometown in Auburn, and then they ship it to, I think, Massachusetts. So this is it's a PCO, but this is a $0 change order, utilizing some of the escalation budget that was part of the GMP, which is, we think we carried $2.1 million in escalation as an allowance. So I'm proposing to use some of that escalation budget to fund these tipping fees so it doesn't add additional cost to the project.
I believe we also had to do that at Pennachuck too.
Yes, we did.
They can no longer accept until everybody in the world approves phase 4. They are accepting no construction material from anybody. They just don't have any place to put it, so. Anyway, so I'll need a motion to approve PCO number 3 in the amount of $0 for additional dumpster tipping fees. Someone like to make that motion?
I'll make that motion.
Alderman Wilshire made the motion. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. The next item for the new middle school is PCO number 4, and this is the item that Jamie mentioned earlier. This is Harriman proposal request number 11R, and this is for the alteration of terrain permitting. These are all the site work revisions that were required by the state that we make to the design after the project was already bid out. So the scope revisions that were affected were all the site prep, domestic water service and fire riser, underground drainage, utilities, water and sewer, site finishes and restoration. It includes all the liquid asphalt escalation based on the current rates and a couple of site letting revisions. I guess the main items that really drove the cost of this, the water, there was a significant change in coordination with Pennachuck water requirements. The water main sizing went from a 6 and 8 inch zinc coated piping to 12-inch. That drives a lot of the cost here, and you'll see if you go through Severino's price, that's a big ticket item for this particular change order. We are also required to change a lot of the drainage system, and again, a lot of this was tied to environmental and protection of the wetlands and all of the small animals on site. Alderman Dowd mentioned the concrete box culvert revisions. That was approved by Conservation Committee on Tuesday. That was part of this. And then various site finishes and restorations. So basically this change, we kind of had to redesign the entire site and reprice it after the fact. So I guess the total value of this potential change order is $735,548.48. I'd like to open up the floor. Any questions? And Jamie and I would...
Oh, we got to make a motion first before we open it up. But also, because of this change, we did not have to give compensation funds to the state to be spent somewhere else in the amount of, was it $75,000? Sean? It was either 50 or 75,000. 75,000 that we were going to have to donate to the state of New Hampshire for the things that we were disturbing. The new change, we don't have to do that. So we saved 75,000. So technically you could take 75,000 off of this number. But before we discuss it, I'll need a motion on PCO number 4 in the amount of $735,548.48 for PRO 11R alteration of terrain permitting and site revisions.
I'll make the motion.
Okay?
I have a question.
Okay, now that we have the motion on the floor, questions? Alderman Clee?
Thank you so much. When I'm looking at this Severino bill, I see a lot of things with a negative. Are those items that have been returned, or, so for instance, on their very first page, I think it's this, I have to make sure I get this right. I'll follow it with my little paper here. Yeah, the subsurface chamber detention system, it says negative $13,820.
Right, so those are credits, so that is a revision from the original pricing. So that's Severino being open book and showing that, okay, this is what we originally bid. It's now not in the project, so they're showing us that they're giving it back and then changing their pricing to add in the new design. So it's them itemizing and showing you the backup that they are giving you what we call a credit or a savings back to the project where it's required.
Thank you.
Yes, Jamie?
I did want to mention, Ken, and maybe you can speak to it, that there was a GMP allowance that was held at the time of bidding because we knew there was going to be some changes. We were not aware of how extensive those changes were. So the original price looks like it was closer to $960,000 plus, and then there was a $255,000 allowance. Is that correct?
Correct.
So it's not like we're increasing the cost from the GMP.
That was,
Yes, I knew you were going to ask that. That's why I just said it.
well, actually, no, that was my question, the second question that I had. So does that mean that this price tag is actually $705,000, or is that just what the GMP? So it's actually $705,000 and not the original $960. Is
Right.
that correct?
Correct.
Right?
So it's actually a cost savings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's-
Yes.
We allocated at the time, it was a guess,
Okay.
what they may come back with, what they were going to change. So we allocated a couple $100,000 thinking that might cover it, but the changes were more extensive than what we were thinking of. So, but yes, the real cost is $200,000 higher than that.
Okay, thank you.
And, this also reflects the fact that gasoline and diesel, if you go down there and see all the equipment they're using, the diesel costs have gone out of sight. And if you see the trucks coming in every minute, huge trucks, 18-wheelers with fill, this is a 22 acres, Jamie, land?
24, 25, do you think 26?
25
Yeah.
acres.
Yeah,
So-
that was, with the additional purchases, I think it actually went over the 23, so.
So while it seems like a big number, AOT actually wasn't as bad as they could have been, so. And we don't have to pay the state that 75,000 either, so that's good. So, any other questions? Alderman Sullivan?
Thank you, Alderman Dowd. Please explain just that yellow box, GMP allowances, help me understand what that is.
That's what I asked.
Okay, so Jamie kind of explained it briefly. So the $960,360 was the total price from Severino to price the AOT changes. In the original approved GMP for the project, we had two allowances, one for $200,000 for the AOT and one for $55,000, which was for water line loop around the building. In the AOT required changes, both of those things were affected, so I combined the GMP allowances, and that's why you see the minus 255.
And GMP stands for?
Guaranteed maximum price. It's our contract that this board voted on as the approved value of the project.
And AOT is?
Alteration of terrain. Sorry.
On all our projects, there's a GMT. If we have to go above the changes to GMP, it comes back to this committee.
Okay, thank you.
This is the additional cost over contract.
Okay.
Okay, any other questions? Yes, Mr. Raymond?
So just, I'm still trying to understand. So this additional $750,000 is we're adding it on to the total cost of the project at this point? So right?
Yes.
We
Are
can't,
you asking whether it's covered under the GMP?
yeah. This is on top of the GMP, right?
It's what?
This
Go
will
ahead,
raise
Ken.
the GMP amount by $735,000.
Okay.
Yes.
That's a lot.
It'll come out of our contingency.
It'll raise our contract. I'll
We do have,
speak to us.
Right,
do
I guess
have-
that's my question. Is it in the contingency or is this going to exceed?
do have large contingencies, and unfortunately, the things that are going on in the world right now are not helping us with the contingencies. And there's a good chance that we're going to have to go in and get additional bond money to finish the school. But that's being not driven by anything happening with construction or design. It's being driven by the economy. And we do have good contingencies right now. If we have to go out for more money, most of that will be to just have additional contingencies in case any unknown unknowns come up during the next 2 years. So
Okay.
we
Thank
don't
you.
know what that number is yet because we finished, when we get done with fairgrounds, we will have money left over. That'll slide into the rest of the project. And we don't know where we'll be at Pennachuck, but right now, we're ahead of schedule and in a very good position cost-wise. So I can't tell you what that number is yet, but we're working on it.
Okay.
And we'll address that later when it comes up. Yes, Ms. Bishop?
This is more of a hypothetical question, but would we be anticipating, so, hopefully kind of at a larger level, federal level with infrastructure payments coming down to states, would we be able to use any of that funding to put towards the bonds of, building new schools and new roads to schools seems to be basic infrastructure for a city. Would that be something that we could possibly tap into to offset the bottom line, further on?
If the state or the federal government wants to give us any money towards school building, you bet we'll put it towards the bond.
Well, yeah. Okay. Just wanted to check.
Any other questions? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Hi.
Opposed, motion carries.
Thank you. Okay, now, Rick, for the PCCO, number 1, for the new middle school. So again, a PCCO is just a prime contract change order, which is comprised of previously approved PCOs by this group. So it's anything that is in a PCCO is comprised of previously approved items, so nothing new is here. So this particular change order is for the miscellaneous fire code adjustments that I presented at last month's meeting for PR4, and that was for a total change order value of $374,809.54.
So as was explained before, this isn't an additional. The PCOs allow them to go out and get the bids. The BCCO allows us to pay for them, basically. So the PCCO number one is in the amount of $374,809.54. And it covers PCO number one that already been previously approved.
Got it.
Can I have a motion to,
I'll make that motion.
Alderman Clee made the motion. Any discussion? No? Okay, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. The last item I have for the new middle school is a letter of recommendation for award. And this is for the spray applied fireproofing bid package. Just a quick update on the buyout for the job. And buyout, again, is just us bringing forward the contractors that we're recommending for the work. We're pretty much complete with the buyout, where it's about 95%. The only remaining items are the landscaping and athletic surfaces, miscellaneous exterior items like that. So we're just working with Mr. Smith and Alderman Dowd to finalize exactly what we want to do for certain landscaping arrangements. So once that's finalized, we'll be able to finish up the buyout. So again, for this package tonight is the spray applied fireproofing. That's basically all the kind of looks like foam that's sprayed on structural steel and the structural deck to provide a fire rating per code. We originally had 6 bidders for this scope of work, and due to the current climate and economy, only 2 of the bidders would provide current pricing or hold their pricing previously. So the new pricing does include current market escalation, and I've been able to lock them in and hold both bidders guaranteed that they would hold their price, so they wouldn't come back to this committee for additional funds. So I'm recommending for this scope of work, it's HF3 Associates LLC of Jenkintown, Pennsylvania, in the amount of $408,564.00. I just do want to note that this bidder was roughly $100,000 less than the other bidder, and we've performed scope reviews with them, and I do think this is the right contractor for the project.
So I'll need a motion to accept the letter of recommendation to award the spray applied fireproofing to HF3 Associates LLC of Jenkintown, Pennsylvania, in the amount of $408,564.
So moved.
So moved by Ms. Raymond. Any discussion?
Me.
Does everybody know what Alderman Clee?
Thank you so much. I appreciate this, but next time, can we get a little bigger?
I know.
I tried taking a picture and still even trying to do that, I can't read it.
No.
For the
Or
visual,
at least for the visually impaired, yes.
Right.
At least turn it sideways.
So those are the bid
six
tabulate.
bids?
Yeah,
Yeah.
these are the bid tabulation sheets. It's what
Okay.
we kind of use internally to make sure everything is apples to apples. We make sure that each bidder is carrying and pricing the same thing. So it's a fair and open process. I will definitely make sure it's bigger next time.
No, and I appreciate it, and I have looked at it in the past, and that's when I usually ask questions like, why was this bidder so much lower, and
Right.
so on. So, yeah, we do look at it, but I even tried using my phone, and my phone went, no.
Sorry about that.
My phone went, I can't even do that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So is this buyout around the same amount that you had assumed it would be before you put it out for bid? Or is it a lot higher?
It's not a lot higher, and we had an aggressive and successful buyout. We saved, I don't want to give exact figures, but we did save a lot of money throughout our scope reviews. So any overage that we had here, I was able to cover with savings from other bid packages. So we will not increase the cost of the project.
That's great, thanks.
You'll recall that we bought a lot of things early on before the economy went crazier than it already was, and there was significant savings there, so we're in good shape. Everybody knows what this fireproofing does, so be sure.
Prevents fires.
Rents the,
It proofs them.
do you want to just briefly say what it does, just for the general public?
Put me on the spot. Basically, just provides a fire rating for the structural steel, and it's a required thickness per specification. Certain areas of the deck are required to have it. Jamie, any?
Yeah, so depending on the building, there's different like types of building, depending on what it's made out of, like this one's steel. A lot of factors come into playing whether it needs fireproofing or not. So this there's an area of 4-story. There's some areas that are, the area A is a really big area, square footage. So to try to break that up without creating additional firewalls, a firewall, I'm going to get into way too much detail, but
Yeah.
a firewall will split the building into separate buildings, even though it's a connected building. And so the code requires spray fireproofing or fireproofing of the structure in certain instances to help prevent basically like the steel from collapsing from if there were a fire. It protects that piece of steel or protects the deck or whatever element is fireproofed. So it's a coating that goes on the steel. I think that's the easiest way to put it.
Okay,
Yeah.
everybody understands now?
Yeah, and just to kind of read further, if my bid tab sheet was legible. So the type of questions that we ask, what type of fireproofing are you using? Does it meet Harriman spec? Are you doing daily cleanup? Are you using plastic so you're not making a mess? How many mobilizations are you carrying? Are you doing patching? So it's kind of just, those are the questions that we ask to make sure that we're getting proper coverage from our subcontractors.
Okay, and any other questions? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
Okay, moving to Pennachuck Middle School. So I have two PCOs, PCO 34 and 36, and they're kind of interchangeable. PCO 36, I won't jump, I guess I can jump ahead there because it kind of makes a little more sense. So at Pennachuck Middle School, I think we all are aware of the lack of parking there. So Mr. Smith and Alderman Dowd asked me and our site work contractor to walk along the athletic fields and possibly add some gravel parking spaces over along the fields there. And I believe we're adding, this change order is adding roughly, let's see, I think it's 20.
Several.
I think it's almost 30 additional spots there.
So there's a longer story involved. If you know Pennachuck, you know that behind the Pennachuck School is a field that is used primarily for football, that is controlled and taken care of by the Park Rec. Access used to be on Old Harris Road, so very quickly in a Reader's Digest overview, the name of Old Harris Road is going to be changing soon. That road's going to be hopefully discontinued. It's going to be used only for a service road to the solar farm for Pennachuck. There's a much larger story. There used to be house lots out there. Pennachuck bought them all. So access to the field in the back can't go that way anymore. So we're building a gravel, not a paved, road to the right of the athletic fields, which I'm sure some of you are well aware of. and on 36, we're going to be adding a fence to protect the athletic fields so somebody couldn't drive on them, with gates so the parents can get in. But if you've ever been there for an athletic event, and I wish I'd brought the pictures, you can have as many as 400 cars in that school. And trust me, there's not parking for 400, and they find unique places to park, I'll tell you. And so this will open up some additional parking spaces for parents basically during an athletic event. if it's not an athletic event, it won't be open. If they're using the field in the back, it'll have parking so that they can use that field in the back, and will be their access, including the park rec. We've been working with the DPW and the park rec, and we're replacing that gate, and that gate will also lock. But they'll be able to get up there and do mowing and take care of the field, and when they use it for PAL, Police Athletic League, that's their access from now on. Long story, but this is to cover basically the contractor placing the gravel so that it's not really a road, but it had parking as well, gravel parking, no asphalt out there. And they will redo that hill, which is a disaster area waiting to happen, and replace that. We're replacing that gate. So all of that is in these two PCOs.
Right, so if you look at the last page of PCO 36, it gives you a good sketch of what is being proposed here. And if this is approved, then we would recommend doing PCO 34. So what PCO 36 includes, it's 31 additional parking spaces, a maintenance access road for maintenance vehicles, and it also includes, if anyone's ever been out to that far baseball field, it's very wet out there.
Yeah.
So we'll be putting in proper drainage out there to make sure that nothing gets damaged when you drive, when Mr. Smith and his crew or DPW needs to get out there to take care of and maintain the fields. It also includes correcting the grading up to that far field that's used by the PAL League.
Right. The drainage also helps us improve the drainage for the athletic fields that we own and we use, so. And the additional parking spaces will not be an issue because I'm in the process of changing the ordinance on allowed parking, because for middle schools and high schools, it didn't take into account, because of the way it's written, which we're rewriting. It didn't take into account like office personnel. There are 8 people with 8 cars. There are, now that we have all kinds of specialists and paras, and there's not enough parking, as I'm sure Ms. Raymond can attest to. If you go to that school during the day, good luck finding a place to park. I mean, we will get rid of some of the construction vehicles, but this will allow us for both the new school and Pennachuck to, we'll be adding these gravel spaces. We're not going to add any more. We've already added some 5 additional asphalt by administrative review, but this will allow us to add these gravel lots, plus in the new school, if we need to, we'll have no restrictions on, great restrictions on the number of parking spaces we have. Mr. Claffey?
Thank you. So looking at the map on the last page where the blue areas, that leads, right now that leads up to a fence
Yep.
in the corner.
No, there's a gate, which is broken and wide open.
And then you keep going down, and then there's the football practice field.
Yeah, it's
Right,
fairly level. It's not really down a lot.
I'm just
the whole
wondering-
field goes down, but
Well, if a car makes it up through this, where the blue ramp is gonna be.
and no cars will be allowed up there. Only the vehicles to cut the grass,
I got it.
or if they ever want to move those trailers that they got up there.
I got it.
But no, cars and parents are not going up that ramp. They'll be blocked.
So I can't bring my dog back there either? On foot? I'm serious, we
As long
love
as
to
you
walk.
walk the dog up there,
Yes.
you're all set.
We can walk, okay.
But not this summer, because we're going to shut the whole
At
site
the
down.
summer, yes, right. Yes, Ms. Raymond.
So my question was similar to his as far as how far one could actually drive down this, I'm going to call it a gravel driveway to the additional parking. Is it only to the baseball field there?
It's only to the maintenance shack.
Okay.
Yeah, so this ties into, so if approved, then we'll recommend the fencing
Okay.
change. The fencing really isn't necessary without the parking.
Since we're
Well, I'll
allowing
make the motion then to approve the
36.
change order
All right, the motion has
for
been
the
made. to
PCO 36.
36.
and-
Okay, any further discussion on PCO 36? Oh, Alderman, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So I just want to make sure that I understand this a little bit. The Spartans also practice back in that field behind the football field, whatever you want to call that area there, that field there. So there will or will not be a road up to that area?
No,
There will not be a road.
no.
So where they take that back road to,
They're a band, they can march up that hill.
well, it's not just them. There are other things, and they have a lot of equipment.
There,
And
Yeah.
they haven't used that field in quite a while.
They were using it last summer.
Yeah,
I
they
heard
won't
them
use
from
it
my
this summer.
home. Yeah.
the gravel road will extend all the way up to that far field.
It could be allowed
Right.
Okay.
if necessary, but that's up to Park Rec, because they own that field.
And I'm only saying this because the Spartans do use it, and there are other, I'm trying to think, other kind of like activities that have used it for practicing and so on.
I'd
so.
say the Ward Alderman ought to let them know, but since I've inherited that.
Alderman, you're the alderman
my
there now.
ward now.
That's yours.
Just for clarity, though, the Pennachuck site that is owned by the school for Pennachuck ends after the baseball field, right? And that other, once you go up on this thing, the blue ramp and then that football field is a park rec, it's city-owned, right? And I know we're all the city, but just to be clear, under the JSSBC's
Technically-
jurisdiction,
Technically, it is not owned the city, it's on a lease that never runs out. They've
Okay.
been granted the rights to use that field forever,
but it's not school property.
not school property.
Okay, then,
And that gate will be locked, and that field is controlled by Park Rec.
okay.
And I've been working with a new Park Rec director now that we have one solid, I hope.
Brian is nice, yes.
Yeah, we have a new one, third.
Right, well,
Yeah, that. So the PCO 36, the motion's made to approve. Any other discussion on PCO 36? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
I,
Opposed, motion carries.
Okay, thank you. So for the second part of that change, for PCO 34, this is the new fencing and grading at the athletic fields. So this includes all new black vinyl coated fencing that ties into, all the way back to the tennis court and basketball court area, so all the way around the track. And then there'll be various barway gates for maintenance vehicles and cars that will be using the new parking spaces and pedestrian access as well. And we'll be putting a new barway gate, as Alderman Dowd noted earlier, just after the maintenance shed, so no cars will be able to get down through past that area, except for maintenance vehicles.
The other good news is, in the baseball and the soccer, they won't have to chase the balls into the wetlands anymore. The fence will stop them. Yes, Ms. Raymond.
so I'll make the motion because I have a question, so.
Okay, motion is to approve PCO number 34 in the amount of $79,304.14 for new fence and grading at athletic fields. Questions?
So I really like this picture. It's helpful to me because it's an aerial shot. Now I can visualize it. But I cannot read on here where the access will be for the athletes and community when school's not in session to access the fields.
So it'll be replaced in kind, so how they currently get in through kind of the, I
Okay,
guess where the bus.
the same spots.
Right, the same spots, and then where you can see kind of where the bleachers are, we're gonna be placing openings, ADA openings that are 36 inches wide there, so people can get in there and not having to hop the fence.
Oh, that's great.
So we're kind of, I think we're shooting for 2 ADA openings per field.
They'll
So
be-
if you look ahead up to the baseball field, we'll be relocating the bleachers, inside of that fence, and there'll be an opening in the gate there.
Wonderful. I'm very pleased to see this. As someone who has recently discovered the difficulties of getting around with a walker and now a cane, I'm a lot more sensitive to the difficulties of our people needing ADA access to our fields. So this makes me happy.
And the fence openings and things have been extensively reviewed by Mr. Smith and his crew. Make sure that we have the adequate openings that are required.
What do the other little green boxes say?
Those are just it's kind of the takeoff performed by the fencing company, so it's just the linear footage of the,
Okay,
of
so
the
it has
fence
nothing
runs,
to do with
right.
access.
So-
Thank you.
There's over a quarter of a mile
right.
of fencing. Just so you know.
So we have that green fencing that's closest to the school. Any opening that was currently there will be replaced. So it'll be exactly how it was
Yeah,
prior
that fence was
to
a
construction.
disaster,
Oh, yeah.
and we've put it far enough back so that when they do the plowing, the snow won't knock that fence down.
And it's all black vinyl coated, so it will match the tennis court area and the new fencing that's going to be installed at the middle school. So it'll all tie together nicely.
Alderman Sullivan, did you have a question?
Yeah, I was just curious why you have green fencing, then blue fencing, then pink fencing.
So we try to, I call it à la carte pricing. So I try to, when Alderman Dowd and Mr. Smith kind of bring these little side projects up, I try to price it in a fashion where you could do this,
That-
or you could do all. So I
It's
try
not the
to
color of
give
the
you
actual fence. The fence is black.
It's the options,
It's the options.
just so you can see the picture in here.
Oh,
Trust me, I would
So
not
for example,
authorize
if
pink fences.
yeah, right, pink fencing, right? No, so
That's just so you
I
can
wanted
see it
to
here.
present it in a fashion so maybe you didn't want to do that last portion of fencing, then you wouldn't have to do that.
oh, I see now, okay. But then you have a line here about fence removal and regrading. Oh, that's just the green,
The old fence.
the old fence.
The old
Got
fence.
it,
Right.
Okay.
Which
Yep.
is
That's what this one is here. yeah.
shambles.
Is it gone now? I think that
It is gone now.
there was just a gully when I picked up my child today.
Yeah.
So,
That fence, we had to replace anyway,
right.
so,
It was in bad shape.
yeah. Our contractors, when you give them a job, they're out there and they get it done quick, so. And there's other well, let's just eliminate and get this approved. PCO 34, any more questions?
I'm sorry. So this is going to replace existing fencing? There's no concern about ledge anywhere where this new fence is going to go?
No. No, no ledge there. Any other questions? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Okay.
Right.
Okay, this next PCO for Pennachuck Middle School is potential change order number 37, and this is for Harriman proposal request number 48. And this is for emergency lighting and egress that was added by the local code official. So we had in doing our walkthroughs with the code officials, before we are able to get certificate of occupancy, they sometimes notice things that they didn't notice before and have requirements that weren't necessarily on the documents. So in this particular case, we did ask a question, and it was more related to some of the renovation areas, and it kind of opened up a can of worms with the local code official, where they wanted to, we needed to add additional signage and emergency lights to some of the new additions and existing spaces. So Harriman put together a proposal request that added additional exit signs and emergency lighting in the building that wasn't on the contract documents earlier. So the costs in this change order reflect those changes. Jamie, anything you want to add to that, or?
I think you covered it.
All right.
So it's a item driven by fire department requirements and code, and it's a safety item. So PCO number 37, the amount of $15,202.90 to cover PRO 48, emergency lighting and egress signs.
So moved.
Mr. Giglio, any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion
Thank you.
carries.
The last item for Pennachuck Middle School is potential change, prime contract change order, PCCO number 9. So this is made up of 2 PCOs that this committee approved last month. PCO number 32, that's replacement of the air handler 5. That services the existing kitchen area. And PCO number 33, which is some revisions to smoke detector, which was actually a savings to the project. So this PCCO number 9 is for a total of $68,413.42.
So I need a motion to approve PCCO number 9 in the amount of $68,413.42 to cover the PCOs that have been previously approved.
Second?
Okay, and motion, no, you made the original motion.
What's that?
You made the motion, not seconded.
Oh, I thought you made the motion.
No.
He just reads it.
You made the motion. All right. So the motion's on the floor to accept PCCO number 9. Any questions on this? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. Okay, moving over to Fairgrounds Middle School. So I believe, I forget what month it was, but this committee approved a bond to perform some additional upgrades at Fairgrounds Middle School this summer. I believe it was for a total of roughly $400,000. That scope included electrical work, which is adding cord drops at all locations. I guess there were some science classrooms that added retractable cord drops so the teacher can pull the cords down, and then when they let them go, they go back up to the ceiling. Painting in miscellaneous areas, mainly in the guidance, and like a full renovation of the media center as well. Flooring in the guidance and media center. We're going to be adding some wall protection in the student commons areas. We noticed that some of the new drywall that we installed has been getting damaged, I guess, by just general traffic and kids bumping against them. So I think adding this wall protection is going to protect those walls from future damage. But also be we have a mason that'll be demolishing the existing door frames. We're going to be replacing various doors, frames, and hardware, exterior doors. We're going to be adding, there was one science room that we did not renovate. We're going to be adding new lab casework and science tables to that room. Additional signage for the new exterior doors that are going to be replaced. And then we're actually in the gym, we're going to be adding kind of tamper-proof metal angle to the tops of the wall pads. We found that some of the kids are hanging on the wall pads and they're coming off the walls. So it's kind of a way to deter and protect those wall pads. So all of that scope, the bond was approved for $400,000. Harriman put together a great design, and the pricing came in well under budget for a total of $229,295.12.
Wasn't a bond. Not our bonds,
Right.
but it was an approved
It was
amount.
approved, right.
Sort of a not to exceed. So it's much less than we thought it was going to be. And I can tell you the 2 rugs involved were in bad shape. And they're, what was it, guidance in the nurse's office?
Guidance area and the media center, the library.
Media center, yeah. All right, so PCO number 14, need approval for an amount of $229,295.15 for the summer renovations 2022. As was just stated,
I'll make the motion. I have a question.
Ms. Raymond made the motion to approve. So, questions?
My question is regarding the wall protection. It says revised corridor wall wainscot from tile to custom color FRP. What is that?
So the original design called for ceramic wall tile. In some areas, we do have that. Kind of a value engineering effort between Mr. Smith and Jamie's team and Harvey. It was found that it's almost like a hospital grade, like vinyl wall protection that you can adhere to the existing wall without performing a lot of demo. So it did save about $100,000 worth of cost and will create much less of a mess in the school in the summertime. So that piece of scope did change. That was kind of like a last-second revision that we were able to kind of value engineer out of the original design.
Okay.
So it actually saves money and it protects the walls. Jamie?
FRP stands for fiberglass reinforced panel.
Ah, okay.
And the reason it says custom there is because this is happening at some of those accent color walls. And we wanted to make sure that those accent walls still remained a highlight. So the custom part of it is the coloring is going to match the wall paint that's there.
That was my next question.
Okay.
And then the other question I had is with the updating of the guidance area and the painting that you're talking about, there's like some murals in there. Are we painting over the murals?
I believe so.
Okay.
Yes. I'm not even getting into the ceiling tiles.
We'll just talk about the transients of art.
Yeah, so, the motion's been made to approve PCO number 14 in the amount of $229,295.12. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
Okay, thank you. Moving over to the last school, 55 Franklin Street. So the first item for 55 Franklin Street is PCO number 1, and this is for the ADA ramp at the front of the school. So this wasn't in the original GMP that was approved by the committee, as that's my understanding. So this was something that we were trying to complete last summer, but we weren't able to get it done in time. So we're now adding this to the project, and we'd like to get this approved, which would allow us to do this work this summer, so it's ready for the start of school.
Just to remind everybody that Franklin Street's under a separate bond. Okay? And the funding is approved and in place. And there are a lot of things gonna be going on with Franklin Street to make this a safe school. The ADA ramp is one that was requested by all of the people that work in the school. They have young ADA students that need to go up that ramp.
Yep. This,
These, mostly for the little kids. The older kids, I don't think we have any ADA the older kids, but anyway. Do we?
Oh, we also have, because the main entrance of the school is right on Franklin Street, we have a lot of parents that come right up Franklin Street with they call them
Strollers.
It's hard to get up the stairs with strollers, so having a ramp there would help those people
Yep.
as well.
all right, I'll make the motion. We have some medically fragile programs here in Nashua, so it's really important that we be able to service those kids right from the get-go.
Right, so, the motion's been made to approve PCO number 1 for Franklin Street in the amount of $97,670 for the handicap ramp. Any other questions? Okay, seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye. I made the motion.
Opposed, motion carries.
Okay, so I believe last JSSBC meeting, my colleague Kathy Misko had 6 packages, recommendation package that were approved by this group. So tonight I have a few more for you, and that'll allow us to get these guys signed up and begin the work this summer. So as usual, I'll explain the scope of work, the number of bids that we received, and the contract value and the recommended contractor. And then if you have any questions, I'll do my best to answer them. So the first bid package presenting for 55 Franklin Street Phase 2 project is for the demolition and abatement package. The scope of work includes summer 2022 demolition and abatement at the second floor, only. Summer 2023 demolition and abatement at the basement, third floor, and first floor. We did receive 2 bids, and we're recommending the lowest qualified bidder, and that is ABS Systems out of Salem, New Hampshire, for a total contract value of $183,000.00.
Just before I do this, a lot of the work being done at Franklin Street is being covered under ESSER funds, and that group and contractor is working hand in hand with Harvey, and things are going exceptionally well, coordinating things. So it's like a 2-year project, because you can't really do a lot of this work when those little kids are in school. So this is for this summer. So I'd like a motion to award the demolition and abatement to Advanced Building Systems of Salem, New Hampshire, in the amount of $183,000.
So moved.
So moved by Mrs. Gilio. Any other questions or comments? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
Thank you. The next package is the concrete flat work and foundation package. And the scope of work here is at the exterior of the building. It'll be all the pile caps at the, I believe these are the egress stairs, the egress stair pads, dumpster pad, and the sidewalks. At the interior, be the 3rd floor ramp, the slab on deck infill, so anywhere we have to make a slab cut to perform any plumbing work or in slab work, this will handle all of that patching, and then all of the slab on grade patching as well, similar to the slab on deck that I just described. It includes all concrete material, all of the pumps required to get the concrete into the building, and then all the reinforcing steel and steel mesh that is required to be installed in the concrete areas before it's placed. We received 2 bids. We're recommending the lowest and qualified bidder, and that is Premier Concrete of Wilton, New Hampshire, for a total contract value of $54,825.00.
I'll entertain a motion to award the concrete formwork and flat work to Premier Concrete Company, Inc. of Wilton, New Hampshire, in the amount of $54,825.
I'll make that motion.
Alderman Sullivan made the motion. Any questions? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
Thank you. The next package is the masonry package. Scope of work here to furnish and install all of the masonry walls. That's CMU is concrete masonry unit. The installation of all of the reinforcing steel and the rebar inside of those walls as required, and then any of the patching, the tooth-in of the new doors and locations at the ends of the corridors. Just due to a lot of these packages, just due to the timing and quick nature of this project, didn't get the best coverage, so sometimes we'll see 1 bid received. I will say that this specific contractor has been the mason for all of the middle schools, so no problem recommending Pin Masonry of Plastow, New Hampshire for this scope of work for a total contract value of $96,626.00.
So I'll entertain a motion to award the masonry work for Franklin Street to George W. Payne Mason, Inc. of Plastow, New Hampshire, in the amount of $96,626.
So moved.
Mr. Raymond makes the motion to approve. Any questions? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
The next package is for the millwork, so the cabinetry package, so basically any new cabinetry that is required per the drawings. We had good coverage on this bid package. We had 3 bids received. We're recommending the lowest and qualified bidder, and that is AP Daily of Windham, New Hampshire, for a total value of $6,300.00.
Now then, need a motion to approve the millwork for the Franklin Street project, AP Daily Custom Laminating Corp. of Windham, New Hampshire, in the amount of $6,300.
So
Make the
moved. Oh, I have a
Sorry.
question.
Oh, I guess I'll make the move.
Okay, Ms.
Sorry.
Lambier made the motion. Motion's on the floor. Any discussion? Yes, Ms. Raymond?
It just says sink by plumber, so this person is only installing the cabinets and the countertop with a hole for the sink, yeah? Okay,
Yeah, a lot of times, we'll have the plumber provide the
sink and the
the
faucets.
sink and the faucets, correct.
okay.
Okay. All right. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
The next package is the roofing package, so basically anything that has to do with the roof shown on the contract documents includes the roof hatch, all the walkway pads for future maintenance on the roof, all of the wood blocking that is required to install around the roof edge, and it also includes the 20-year manufacturer roofing warranty with the products specified. We did solicit 5 bids. We, again, especially roofing, hard to get a roofer this time of year. We did receive 1 bid. It's Academy Roofing of Ringe, New Hampshire. They have done 2 out of the 3 middle schools for us in Nashua, so we do a lot of work with them as well. Recommending Academy Roofing of Ringe, New Hampshire for a total value of $515,300.00.
So I need a motion to approve the roofing of the Franklin Street for the Academy Roofing Corp. of Ringe, New Hampshire, in the amount of $515,300. So moved by Mrs. Raymond. Any discussion?
I have a question.
Okay, Alderman Sullivan?
When you put, I guess, a RFQ out or an RFP, do you have an end date on that quote to be delivered by? So is that a reason why there's just only 1 bid that comes in? I mean, I understand that there's a scope of work and some decide not to do it, but is the, I'm just concerned that so we have 2 on here that we only have 1 bid for. You know, one's the roof, so I just don't know on the
Comes
deadline.
down to timing.
Yeah,
You put it out, you're starting in the summer. A lot of these guys are already booked up.
Yeah.
That's the problem, so that's why
Okay.
we ended up with what we ended up with.
okay.
But I think Ken alluded to it. When you see 1, 2, or 3, we're going to 4, 5, or 6 people asking if they got the availability to look at these things, so.
Okay. Thank
Ms.
you.
Raymond?
Thanks. Regarding this roofing, we have been working on getting solar projects on a lot of our schools. Will we be able to do that with this roof? I mean, I don't know if it's possible, given the size and blah, 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 but theoretically, if we wanted to.
The roof is not the issue. Putting solar on a building can be put on any rubber roof. We take an analysis from a structural engineer to find out if the building has the capacity structurally to hold up the additional
The
5 or
weight.
10 pounds
Okay.
that these things weigh a square foot.
So all of our
So
solar
this
projects.
isn't, the roofing's not going on until next summer. So this coming year, I'll be approaching the solar company about taking a look at that.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, the solar company's a public-private partnership, which doesn't cost us anything to do, but we work with them to make sure that all the requirements are met from roof loading and everything else.
Right, I just wasn't sure about if it was the roof itself that had to hold up the load, the weight. Especially when you're thinking it's New England, we're gonna have a snow load too, or if it's more something structural underneath, so.
It'll be checked, but it should be okay, because it's an industrial building that was built by the company for.
Right,
Built like a bomb shelter. It's
Yes.
a reinforced concrete building.
right, it's a,
It was a fallout shelter at one point in time.
Yeah,
that's
It-
awesome.
Yeah.
Good to know, we can all hang out in that.
putting one of the world's largest elevators. So,
The underground auditorium, it's a really cool
so
building.
I'll need do we already have a motion to? Yes.
Yeah, we did.
Okay, so the motion is to approve the roofing to Academy Roofing Corp. of Ringe, the amount of $515,300. If there are no further questions, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
Thank you. The next package is the glass and glazing package. So this is all the glass that's going in the 19 new doors that we're adding per design. all of the borrowed light glazing for the new nurses areas. So those are, the borrowed lights are kind of the windows either in or beside the doors. So that's what that borrowed light means. We did receive 3 bids, and we're recommending the lowest qualified bidder, and that is Marvel Glass of Merrimack, New Hampshire, for a total value of $4,895.00.
I need a motion to approve the glazing for Franklin Street to Marvel Glass of Merrimack, New Hampshire, in the amount of $4,895.
So moved.
So moved by Mrs. Gilio. Any further questions? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. You'll notice these amounts are a lot less than the new middle school.
Okay, the next package is the framing and drywall package. Scope of work here is all of the new walls and ceiling framing made of drywall, all of the install of the doors and window frames. In-wall blocking again is kind of the wood or substrate that we place behind the drywall that we can attach things to so they don't pull out of the wall, and also the required insulation. We received 3 bids. We're recommending the lowest qualified bidder, that is Red Star Building Systems of Londonderry, New Hampshire, for a total value of $235,110.00.
I need a approval for awarding the drywall on the Franklin Street project to the Red Star Building Systems LLC of Londonderry, New Hampshire, in the amount of $235,110. So moved by Mrs. Raymond. Any discussion, any questions?
It was Ms. Wilshire.
Oh, Ms. Wilshire, sorry, wrong glasses. Okay, any questions? Ms. Raymond?
I just have a question about the drywall itself. You'll notice in this room, we had started to display some student artwork, which was beautiful and lovely, but it has damaged the walls. Is there anything, it's a preschool, so is there anything to be done to make sure that that doesn't happen in the new preschool area drywall?
Jamie, you want to hit that one?
I was gonna say, don't hang art on the walls.
But it's a
It was a bad-
preschool. You
No,
can't
I
not
know,
hang up
I know.
art.
Bars, you put it on.
It might be the way that it's hung, using the right product to hang it on the wall. I mean, drywall is drywall. There is abuse-resistant board going on the 3rd floor of the school, but that, that still has the possibility to peel a little bit like that. It's
Right.
a paper. It's a paper that goes on and holds the rock, the dry
Right.
gypsum rock together. So it's easy to patch, but I understand the concern. I don't know, Mr. Smith, did you have something to add to that that might be helpful?
Yeah, so we're replacing all the sheetrock on the 3rd floor because the clientele likes to make holes in the walls,
Right.
and it contains asbestos. So that's why that number's fairly large. As to the preschool, there are products that we can put on the walls. It's basically tacky type stuff. You can buy it in squares, rectangles, you can buy it in strips.
That's what this is.
Yeah, something like, you could buy a whole strip of it. It comes in different shapes, sizes, and then they could just adhere to that. Then you wouldn't be, looks like that was taped.
No, it's
Pull the tape off.
it's like that double-sided foam stuff.
And they ripped off the foam stuff too.
I'm not a fan.
No?
Over here they
Looking
did.
at it from a distance. But,
Yeah. Yeah, we did. Anyways, I just want to make sure that doesn't happen again, and then knowing that the students that are on the 3rd floor sometimes have some behaviors that cause them to be damaging to walls and furniture and other things.
We could, it could be the possibility to add some tack boards in areas for students and kids to put stuff up. My part-time job as a landlord, and I don't like double-sided tape for that exact reason,
Oh,
so. I understand.
Right, I have a plan for this. Mr. Smith doesn't know it yet, but I want him to get those metal things that
Yeah.
But we're talking about fresh, new. Just want to make sure.
I suspect whoever took the pictures off the wall
Yeah.
wasn't gingerly about it.
No.
Yeah.
All right,
All
thank
right.
you.
Motion is to approve the drywall award for Franklin Street to Red Star Building Systems LLC of Londonderry, New Hampshire, an amount of $235,110. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
Thank you. All right, folks, hang in there. We're almost through it. The next package is the signage package. This scope of work includes all of the exterior window vinyl signage. So this is kind of a safety requirement for the fire department. So if there's, for example, if there's 3 windows, they have the room number on the 2 perimeter windows, so the fire department knows the extents of that particular room. So all the schools have that same numbering system. It includes the exterior door vinyl signage and the door ID numbers. Again, this is another package just due to timing. A lot of our signage contractors are booked up for the summer. They do a lot of schools, we call them summer slammers. So we solicited 3 bids. We did receive 1 bid, and that is Sousa Signs of Manchester, New Hampshire, and for a total contract value of $3,720.00.
So I need a motion to approve the signage for Franklin Street to Sousa Signs of Manchester, New Hampshire, in the amount of $3,720.
So moved.
So moved by Mrs. Giglio. Questions? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
The next package is the plumbing package. Scope of work entailed here is all of the new bathrooms, all of the roof drains, sink relocation, as noted before, all of the floor drains, and a per addendum to a sewer ejector pump. So a sewer ejector pump is basically if you have a bathroom or anything where gravity can't take over like it normally does, this kind of pumps the gray water up so it can get down to the sewage release point. We did receive 2 bids here. We're recommending the lowest qualified bidder, and that is Denron Hall of Nashua, New Hampshire, for a total contract value of $409,546.00.
I'll need a motion to approve the plumbing for Franklin Street to the Deron Hall Plumbing and Hyvac of Nashua, New Hampshire, in the amount of $409,546.
So moved.
So moved by Mrs. Raymond. Any questions? Yes, Alderman Clee.
Thank you. It's not so much a question. First off, I'd like to thank everybody for, all of these contracts are from people in New Hampshire. This particular one is in Nashua, New Hampshire, and a few weeks back in the State House, we had I don't even really know what you would call it, but it was basically tradesmen came up, and I got to meet the people from Denron, and I was quite impressed with them. But the one thing that I wasn't impressed, so I'm going to kind of do a commercial for them, is that they are hiring people with no experience, and they're going to train and bring you up and give you a job and so on. So I think it's a really good, and I'm glad to see that we're working with this kind of an organization. So anybody who wants to get into the plumbing trade, get a hold of Denron, they're right in Nashua. So thank you.
Any other questions? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, the final package, recommendation package, is for the fences and gates. Similar to the work at the other schools, black vinyl coated fence and gates at the egress stairs. That'll be done this summer, and then a 6-foot dumpster enclosure. We did receive 2 bids, and we're recommending the lowest qualified bidder. It's Chasco of Portsmouth, New Hampshire. They're also doing the work over at Pennachuck. Total contract value is $27,187.00.
I need a motion to approve the fencing for Franklin Street to Chasco of Portsmouth, New Hampshire, in the amount of $27,187.
So moved.
So moved by Mr. Giglio. Any questions? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
That is it for the Harvey paperwork. Thank you, folks, for, we made a lot of progress tonight. Thank you. We all appreciate it.
Okay, Sean?
The next item on the agenda is a change order to Hayner Swanson. So we've talked about Old Harris Road at Pennachuck Middle School. If you recall how it used to be, it ended near the intersection of Manchester and Old Ferry Road across the way. That has been discontinued, and the entryway for that is now on the Pennachuck Middle School property. So we needed to work with our legal department to develop an easement to allow Pennachuck, or actually Pennachuck's solar company, to go onto our property to get access to their solar farms. And to do that, we have to develop what's called Mets and Bounds, and that's what survey people do. So this change order has Hayner Swanson provide that information to our legal department so they can draft up the easement paperwork. And that comes to a total of $3,350.
Okay, we need a motion to approve change order 3 to Hayner Swanson in the amount of $3,350. And trust me, I'm the one that has to bring the easement stuff to the lawyers, so they want this information.
So moved.
So moved by Ms. Raymond. Any questions?
Can you repeat that? No, the whole thing.
Oh, Mike?
Her mic.
Repeat the motion.
Motion is to approve change order number 3 for the Pennachuck Middle School for Hayner Swanson, Inc. in the amount of $3,350. All set? Any questions? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Sean?
Next item I have is under letters of recommendation on your agenda. It's for computer upgrades. Mr. Rodriguez could not make it tonight, so I will do my best to try to explain what this is. Basically, he wants to buy 73 total computers for Fairgrounds and Pennachuck Middle School. He did go out to bid. He got 3 bidders to respond, and he's recommending that we award the contract to IT Insiders, a total of $42,814.50.
Repeat the amount.
$42,814.50.
And it's IT what?
IT Insiders.
Okay, need a motion to approve the purchase of computers for Pennachuck Middle School and Fairgrounds Middle School from IT Insiders for the amount of $42,814.50.
I'll make that motion.
Okay. Alderman Wiltshire made the motion. Any discussion?
How many computers?
73,
73 desktops?
yes. Apparently, this is the same company that the board's been approving in the past for other schools.
All right. Any other questions? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Sean?
Okay, now we go into invoices.
What?
How about sprayed applied fireproofing?
We already covered that.
Did that one, yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And Franklin Street too, yeah?
And we
Yep,
already covered that.
okay.
Okay.
So, invoices. First one is Gove Environmental. They are actually the ones who are providing information to aid in our efforts to get an alteration of terrain permit, actually a dredge and fill permit. And that invoice is, so that's for the new middle school, $1,863.50. There's actually 2 invoices, I'm sorry, that's what the total was. For Harriman, we have 2 invoices, one for new middle school and one for Pennachuck Middle School. Those total $59,318.35. For Harvey, we have 3 invoices, one for Franklin Street one for Pennachuck, and one for the new middle school, totaling $1,970,153.21. For Hayner Swanson for work at the new middle school.
Excuse me, you mean Harvey's again, because it doesn't match on the 1 million,
$1,970,153 and
okay, that's.
21 cents.
Number's not the same. Give it to me again one more time, 1 million,
1,970,153.21 cents.
all right, okay.
If there's any confusion, could be if you look at the middle school project in that particular spreadsheet, that has a total of 1,942,168.91. And you have to go to the other spreadsheet for Franklin Street. It's a separate bond, separate from the middle school project. So you have to add those two. Same number?
Same number.
Okay. We're paying him, so you got the same number. That's a good thing.
It balances.
Hayner Swanson, so for work at the new middle school, $2,011.22. Page Street Storage for the ground storage unit, $95 at Pennachuck. Incidentally, that'll be the last one because we've moved that ground storage unit to plant operations to house masks and all the pandemic-oriented stuff that we took out of our warehouse. Next invoice is for Pro AV. Those are for projection systems at Pennachuck Middle School. Total $97,227.20. For the Turner Group, who's our commissioning agent for the HVAC systems at Pennachuck, total is $2,047.07. And finally, for Vanessa Associates, they are a transportation or traffic consultant for work at the intersection at Pennachuck, $255. I'll give you two totals. One is for the middle school project, $2,104,986.25. That's for the middle school bond. And for the Franklin Street bond, $27,984.30.
What was that second number?
$27,984.30.
For a grand total,
Higher mathematics, I'm sorry.
all right, we'll approve it this way. So, the invoices to be paid are for Harvey Construction, $1,970,153.21. Harriman A&E, $59,318.35. Hayner Swanson, $2,011.22. Vanessa and Associates, $255. Turner Building Sciences, $2,047.07. Page rental, $95. Pro AV Systems, $97,227.20. And Gov Environmental, $1,863.50. For a middle school project total of $2,104,986.25. And for Franklin Street, $27,984.30. Any questions? Seeing no questions, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Who made the motion?
Did that motion?
Oh. Made them.
I don't think we did.
I made the motion.
Okay.
All right. Let's see. I think that's all set. Comments by committee members? Yes, Ms. Raymond?
Just really quickly, I am at Pennachuck every single day after school for track practice. And with all the night work going on, there are people coming in and out with their construction stuff in the back there. And I haven't seen anybody have any issues at all in the last couple weeks with picking up, and sometimes we get backed up and we got to figure out how to turn around because, kids and parents. But it's not the construction people, it's the kids and parents not figuring out how to follow the traffic pattern. So I just wanted to give kudos to at least the, outside of the regular day, construction people over at Pennachuck.
Yeah, thank you. Our superintendents do a great job of coordinating with the administration and the faculty to make sure that we're not interrupting the day-to-day of the school. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's not always easy, but we do our best.
Yeah, there's a lot of traffic there in the afternoons. I mean, it starts when school gets out and then it just continues on until like 5 o'clock. So,
Yeah, biggest issue is when they have a track meet with 4 middle schools. And
there's baseball games
parents,
usually the same day.
grandparents, nieces, cousins, and nephews, is place is packed. So, but the principal works with Mike and try to alleviate as much.
Yep, and the temporary lighting has been, lighting signals. People have been following them. I haven't seen anybody like running the red light there or not being polite, so.
So
Maybe it's just when I go, but
Once
knock on
once
wood.
it got fixed.
yeah, once we there was a minor problem.
This is only after school. I don't know what happens on pickup
Yeah,
drop
I know,
off
it
in the
works during the
morning.
day too, because I'm there during the day.
Yeah.
But we've already started cutting the trees. The gas vault was finally moved after they dropped the initial one and cracked it. And that work's
Harvey.
ongoing. When are we moving the Pennachuck fence?
The Pennachuck fence will be, I think, next week, and then I think the asphalt company relocation will be complete after, I think at the end of next week, and that'll allow us to get out in the street and start widening the road and kind of getting ready for the summer.
Great.
And when we're all done, there'll be travel lanes and turning lanes, so traffic flow should be a heck of a lot better. And as soon as the outside of the north addition when we open it up again in September, you will have the parent drop-off lane that doesn't block the 2 travel lanes.
Yep, that'll be better. So, and then I just had one question on the new middle school. Are we having a groundbreaking? I know ground is technically broken. Did I miss it while I was out for my surgery?
No,
Okay,
I believe we set a tentative date. Let's not advertise it too much yet, but I think it was Friday the,
June 24th,
June what?
24th, tentative.
okay. Thank you.
So, we will put out an invitation list, and shovels, hard hats, and everything will be supplied by Harvey. And
Better order a truckload.
We can have like a red ribbon or not yet?
yeah, so, and there will be a pile of dirt somewhere that we can throw somewhere.
Careful what you ask for.
Yeah. Then, should I mention about the,
Oh, yeah, so typically as part of construction, we do a topping off ceremony, and that's usually like one of the last pieces of structural steel. I think on a previous project or a current project in Nashua, we're gonna be putting a beam somewhere in the city that all you folks can sign, and then that'll be part of the building. So, we'll try to pick a good piece of steel, and we'll get that in the works sometime this summer.
That's fun.
Yeah, that is fun.
Yeah, the issue is going to be where we put it so it doesn't get tagged.
Oh, that could be fun too.
fun,
Transients of art.
put it in Sean's office, and,
I was just going to say at one of the schools or in City Hall.
Behind that new fence.
yeah, we'll find a place.
Motion to adjourn?
Thank you.
Motion is to adjourn. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We're adjourned at 9:25.